So, what if I told you the ultimate playbook for conquering a new market wasn't written in some fancy business school, but was pieced together from some of history's most ruthless and brilliant minds? Well, today we're digging into a powerful and kind of non obvious strategy for total market conquest. This is the big one, right? It's the ultimate challenge for any entrepreneur or innovator out there. When you're the new kid on the block, how do you not just, compete, but actually dominate a field that's already owned by these massive, established leaders? Well, the answer isn't going to come from your typical startup guru, that's for sure. It actually comes from combining the wisdom of three thinkers from wildly different times and places. It is a seriously unlikely alliance, but trust me, the result is a strategy that is brutally effective. Okay, get ready for this lineup. We're talking about combining the ruthless tactics of a 15th century diplomat, Niccolo Machiavelli, with the psychological mastery of Robert Greene and the solid defensive wisdom of financial psychologist Morgan Housel. So how on earth do these pieces fit together? Let's start with the foundation: control. Our first pillar comes from the man whose name is basically shorthand for ruthless strategy, Machiavelli. Now, he wrote about conquering new states, but his advice? It's pretty much a masterclass in how to enter and completely control a new market. Yeah, Machiavelli didn't mess around. He was super direct. He said, when you take over a new place that's used to its old ways, you've got three choices. You can destroy it, you can go live there yourself to crush any problems before they start, or you can install a friendly government that completely depends on you for its power. Pretty stark, right? So let's translate this to business today. The timid way is to be just slightly better. The Machiavellian way? No, you make the old way totally obsolete, kind of like what the iPhone did to physical keyboards. And instead of just observing your customers, you occupy their world, you immerse yourself in their communities. And you don't just hope for loyalty, you build that loyal government of power users whose status is completely tied to your product. So, here's the absolute heart of this first pillar. Your goal is not to be just another choice on the shelf. Your mission is to be the new force that completely changes the rules of the game for everyone. But look, brute force and control, that's not enough. Once you've changed the rules, you've got to capture people's imaginations. And that brings us to our second pillar, the art of illusion, straight from the mind of Robert Greene. Greene's core idea, his 30-second law of power, is that reality can be, well, kind of harsh and boring. People crave fantasy. They crave a great story. He argues that the people who can create and sell a beautiful illusion are the ones who will hold incredible power. Just take the wild story of Maria Carlson in 19th century Paris. This woman shows up claiming to be lost royalty with absolutely zero proof. All she had was this tragic, romantic story. But here's the thing. The Paris elite wanted to believe her. They paid for her lavish lifestyle for years, not because of facts, but because they were totally captivated by the illusion she was selling. And this isn't some old-timey trick. It is literally the foundation of modern branding. People don't buy products. They buy better versions of themselves. Apple isn't just selling you a computer. It's selling you the illusion that you are a creative genius. Rolls-Royce isn't just selling a car. It's selling the illusion that you've made it, that you're part of the absolute elite. So here's your second mission. You need to ask, what is the core fantasy, the deeper story that your product is selling? Is it freedom? Is it status? Is it intelligence or belonging? You've got to figure that out and build your entire world around it. Okay, so conquest and illusion. They're really aggressive, forward-moving strategies, right? But that also creates a lot of risk. What happens when things go wrong? And they will. That brings us to our third, absolutely crucial defensive pillar, building an unbreakable fortress with the wisdom of Morgan Housel. Housel's most important idea is what he calls the margin of safety. And look, this isn't just some finance term, it's a whole philosophy for life. It's the buffer, the cushion you deliberately build into everything you do to protect yourself from the wild, unpredictable nature of the world. To really get why this is so critical, just ask yourself this one simple question. What is the one single thing you can absolutely 100% predict about the future? The answer is that you can't predict everything. The only thing you can be certain of is uncertainty. History is just one long story of total surprises, and the biggest risks are always the ones that nobody sees coming. And this isn't some abstract idea. Here's what it looks like in the real world. For product performance, it's designing your app to run great on 1 gig of RAM, even when it needs to. For your pricing, it's making sure you have a healthy profit margin so you can absorb a sudden price spike in materials. And for deadlines, it's giving your team 4 months for a project you think will probably take 3. That's your buffer.
So, your third mission is to make this a core part of your culture. It's not just a line item. From engineering to finance to marketing, you've got to weave this idea of margin of safety into everything you do. That's how you build a company that can actually last.
Okay, so we have our 3 pillars. We have conquest, illusion, and safety. Now for the really cool part, let's forge them into one single, unified master plan. How do these 3 things actually work together? It really is this simple when you break it down. From Machiavelli, you take control. You're going to decisively change the market's rules. From Robert Greene, you build attraction by selling an absolutely irresistible story. And from Morgan Housel, you ensure resilience by building buffers that let you survive the shocks that are definitely coming. And this is so important. These pillars have to work together. Think of it like a 3-legged stool. If you're aggressive and you try to conquer without any resilience, that's just reckless. If you're resilient, but you don't have an attractive story, you're stagnant. And if you have a great story, but no real strategy to change the market, well, that's just a dream. You need all 3 to stay standing. And that leaves us with one final thought, a question for you to take with you. As you look at your own business or your project or even your own career, ask yourself honestly, conquest, illusion, or safety? Which one of these critical pillars are you neglecting right now? Because the answer to that question, well, it might just be the key to your next big breakthrough.